So what happens? I assume Lieutenant, well, now his officers are saying, let's just stop, but Lieutenant Colonel Smith is decides to move on with his orders. Did they find any weapons or ammunition or anything at Lexington?
No.
Okay. So that would mean that must be at Concord. So now they're all heading north to Concord.
They're headed there. Once again, Colonel Smith sends an advance guard up to the North Concord Bridge to seal it. And then there is a group of a couple of hundred men that proceed to Colonel Barrett's farm, where they feel as though there are additional stores there. Now, when they get there, the 400 militia scurry across the bridge and goes up to a hill, and they stay there. Okay. One of the things I couldn't determine, and they left a guard of 90, 100 British soldiers there. I could not find anything. What happened to those 200 guys? I'm sure that they came back and then joined the main group, but I couldn't find anything there, so I just ignored them and didn't even mention them in that episode because I couldn't determine. But what we do know is the 90 to 100 regulars that stayed right there at the North Concord Bridge was there. Also, another piece of information is they started with 400 people on the hillside, but it grew anywhere between 3,000 to 4,000 men joined them. That would just see over a 3-hour period with just...
But what time of day is this now?
Well, this is late morning.
Late morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the militia is pouring in, and it's possible because some of them were alerted after Lexington. So where nobody showed up to help the Lexington militia, 3,000 to 4,000. And it will grow through the day to be over 10,000.
And how many people are under Lieutenant Colonel?
It's still the same amount. You got 700 to 800. There's only one person wounded at Lexington, and that was just a flesh wound.
And so 7 Patriot dead, 1 wounded British soldier, 700 there. They're going through Concord, I imagine, looking for those stores.
They are.
Did they find any?
They did not find anything. They found 2 carriages where cannon would be placed on.
Oh, okay. Cannon carriages.
Yes, and they burned those. Okay, and of course
that's what started the fire.
The fire, and which got the militia coming down. Well, now let's review too what Prescott did. He went to Acton, and in Acton told them after Concord. The Acton militia was headed by Captain Isaac Davis. Captain Isaac Davis was a gunsmith. And again, we didn't include that. What we see is him coming and him leading the charge down the hill. And
so he's already up on the hill.
Yeah, he's part of the 3,000 to 4,000 up there. I think I said 2,000 to 3,000 because I couldn't believe 3,000 to 4,000.
Yeah, I couldn't either.
But he's in the front, and he's moving within gunshot range, and he and Private Hosmer get shot and die because they're within range there. But what didn't come out in the episode is that Davis wanted to make sure that his militia was as well equipped as the British. And so he crafted bayonets for all his men.
He made bayonets.
He did. And so that's the reason.
So his men have bayonets at this time?
Yeah. So that's why they were placed in front, because they
could lead the charge.
They could lead, So these are the little things that you say,
and he's
wow.
one of the first to be hit.
He is. And he knew that he was...
ironic
and
brave.
Yes, he had
leading a bayonet charge against 700.
Well, no, there was only 90 to 100 at the bridge.
Oh, he's going for the bridge.
The bridge,
which
right.
is probably the weakest area of the British.
It is at that point. and the rest are still around where the Concord is. But still, whether it's 90 to 100, when you're within range, I mean, it's a half a football distance, and they can kill you, and they keep going.
Sure.
He had such a commitment to the cause. He believed in it. He had a family, but he believed it and was up front because that's what a leader does. He got shot in the chest and died almost immediately. That's why there's that statue there.
Oh, there's a statue there.
Yeah, to him. Yeah, that shows that. So
he was, to the rest of the people leading this charge from Acton, he was a hero.
He was definitely a hero.
Yeah.
What if Prescott hadn't decided to go to Acton and those guys weren't there?
I hope he didn't walk with tuberculosis.
No. That was Captain Parker that had tuberculosis.
That was Captain Parker.
Yeah, I know.
I'm getting the Parkers
Yes.
and the Prescott.
But that was Isaac Davis, you know. But and then
So Prescott, who started this whole thing by getting to Concord, tells his neighbors, now goes to his neighboring town and tells
the militia there.
the militias, Isaac Davis, and so Isaac Davis responds, and the whole militia responds, and they come with the latest technology. We now have bayonets,
Yes.
and they are chosen to lead the charge downhill into that bridge. It's all connected. I see it.
It is, you know. So you go back and look at history, and there are decisions made, and there are consequences.
Yes.
British Parliament and the King, ever since 1763, had misjudged the resolve of New England, of Boston. As late as 1775, April 19th, 17, they still misjudged. They come up to Lexington and they, you know, with a matter of 10 minutes, they defeat
Which
those
you would
militia.
expect.
Yeah, and then they march. They weren't expecting
4,000.
400, no problem. You know, they're going to run up there. I mean, these are farmers. These are townsmen.
That's right. These are untrained, just farmers.
That's it. And are they going to stand up? No, they're not going to.
Absolutely not.
Except they believed in the cause.
What was the cause?
Well, the cause was they had rights as Englishmen. They had rights by their charter to govern themselves. They had the rights to tax themselves, too, and support that. Those had been taken away from them as coercive acts. The Boston Port Act. Legally speaking, if you were charged with something, you would be tried, but no longer in Boston. You were moved to an admiralty court or maybe Nova Scotia. So all these
No
rights.
jury.
No jury. So you wonder why we have a Bill of Rights? Take a look at what happened before.
Exactly, yes.
This will never happen again. We're going to make it part of our Constitution.
Yes.
And so...
And you're not going to take our gunpowder and our weapons from us ever again.
Second Amendment, yeah.
Wow.
It's all tied to the oppression, the tyranny that they experienced, and they wouldn't stand for it.
Yes.
They responded, and they went back. And so after that fiasco, did the British back down?
Well, they couldn't, could they? I mean, we are Britain. We've never backed down before.
Yeah, they sent 30,000 men to crush us the following year.
And that would do it.
That would do it.
You would think.
Yeah, so...
Again, though, they didn't read the resolve. They didn't see how deep the resolve was.
Misjudged it. That's one of the reasons why Lord Dartmouth, where we started out,
Yes.
Lord Dunsmore, in Virginia. He was pressing on the House of Burgesses in Virginia. He didn't like their vote in support of Boston, so he dismissed the House of Burgess.
Uh-huh.
And what did the House of Burgess in Virginia? I mean, the rebellion was in Boston.
Yes.
What did they do? They went to the Raleigh Tavern, which is a pub, reformulated as a provincial government. And Dunsmore blew it off and said it's of no consequence. Dartmouth said, no, this is significant. You must pay attention to this. January 17th.
This is a government formed without permission.
Yes, without blessing. They've done it on their own. Boston and this, it is spreading. Dunsmore, that information was suppressed for 8 weeks. Dartmouth found it out and told Parliament. And they were saying, what?
They are forming governments.
Yes. And Dartmouth...
And it's not even close to Boston.
And Dartmouth is saying, you're missing this. Pay attention.
This is a colony. This is the entire seacoast.
And that's one of the reasons why he
Resigned.
They were so blinded by their desire to conquer and own, they would crush anybody in their way.
The way to deal with this is more troops. Just keep sending more troops. Just keep
For how
sending
long?
more troops.
8.5 years.
There's history.
There's history.
Wow.
Decisions, consequences
Yeah.
at all levels. 2 rebel guys firing their weapons. Pitcairn.
And it just slightly wounds, you said, just one wounded guy.
Yeah. And so Pitcairn, his troops didn't obey. Mm-hmm. Captain Parker has tuberculosis.
Mm-hmm.
So unintended consequences. So that's history.
Yes, it
That's
is.
our history. So that's some of the background of these 4 episodes, what we included, what we didn't, and within the time frame. But now you get a much better idea of personalities
Exactly.
and everything. And we'll follow this up with more in depth of these personalities that we kind of introduced.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Tom.
And I hope other people who have more insight will write down in commentaries.
Wouldn't that be great?
You know, just give you a little bit more to further develop.
We'd
this.
love to have that input. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known that Samuel Prescott's middle name was Wheeler.
Yes.
And that there's a Mulligan.
Yeah.
How cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.